Welcome.
When
It's
was the
the
last time you went to Denny's?
why would I here's the thing, dude. Even when people are like, "Oh, whatever, we'll go at 2 a.m. when everyone's drunk in college." Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I hope I
Uh,
said that as soon as we started
there
streaming.
was actually there was a little bit of our back and forth first that sounds extra hilarious. So yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, this
Uh,
is a great delusional start as it is. Also, separately, can you pull up the actual stream to see, just in case, remember, I did. Oh, Andy's hacking up a lung.
it's fine.
He's gonna die. Welcome to the
No,
show where two white guys who wanted more people to listen to him started a podcast. I'm Cryptic.
and I'm Tommy. Wait.
Oh no. Oh, what's he
I
got?
got to hear our stupid bit while I checked if the stream was working.
Okay, cool, nice, amazing.
Um, so welcome to Cryptic Puzzle. This is normally a video game show where we talk about video games, and it still is today. But here's the thing: I've introduced a new segment to the show that Tommy doesn't know about.
I actually
That
have no idea.
he's no idea what
He
it
sent
is,
me this link and said, "Hey, I'm gonna put a slideshow together, and you have to stream it for the show." I was like, "Okay, here we go."
and so today it is video game related, but it doesn't have to be though, which you'll see. So I don't know if you want to just go down the slides and we want to just find the first slide with real content.
Okay, yeah, I'm hitting the arrow keys. We're gonna.
There's like 20 slides
There
of
it
this.
is.
Welcome to our first ever segment titled "The Horrors of the Internet."
That's just what
Welcome,
the show
Tommy.
is.
Okay, but okay, here's the
You're like,
right.
this is
Okay, but listen, so
okay.
obviously on the show and in our life, there's this common through line, which is like
Oh.
I'm very fascinated by like
Uh-huh.
seeing the stuff on the internet, and I like am interested in it. And Tommy is convinced that everything's on fire and we're all gonna die, and this is why the world is ending.
Well,
So
no, that's
today,
when I'm feeling like extra depressed. You
yeah,
know.
just like Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, which is,
Uh,
most days, but
But so like the idea behind this is I put together a little slideshow of like a rabbit hole of like one internet interest for me, and we're gonna kind of go through some of the interesting points, and I'm gonna try and convince
this
you
is
and the
definitely
people
about Silk
watching.
Song.
No, it's actually not. You didn't guess. If you guessed it, I'll tell you. Um, but I'm gonna try and convince you and the people watching that this is like an interesting rabbit hole to maybe go down, and like why I'm like interested in this stuff. But do you want to guess what it is, what we're going down?
Um, it's internet drama rabbit hole specifically?
Yeah, and it's like I mean it's a video game. So you could probably guess the video game and you'll be right on the money.
Okay. I mean, here's the problem. There's a lot of that going on in the industry right now. Is it no, this would have been no, AI's right in the thing here. He would, and also there wasn't enough time for you to have made this by the thing that I was just thinking of. Now let's just do it. Let's just go. I wanna go along for the ride because you know what's gonna be really funny is when you find one that I bite on and I'm like, actually, let's get into this one.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
okay. And I can't we'll see as we go. I can't decide if I made like too little slides or too many. So
Okay.
we'll see how it goes. But go ahead to the next slide
We
and we'll
talk a
see
lot
what.
without any slides normally,
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
I think we're fine. We'll be okay.
That's true.
Alright, I'm moving. Oh, no.
You should have been able to guess this.
I
I'm surprised you
probably
didn't.
I probably should have. Also, why is this no longer full screen? Hang on.
Uh-oh.
There we go. I
Oh, that's
fixed
better.
it.
You still didn't. You got to do like control enter or
No, it's
something to
good.
do the full slideshow mode.
It's
Is
it's
it?
there. It's good. It's good.
Drag down the little bars on the bottom.
It's what are you talking about?
The little bar. There's a little bar on the bottom. Drag it down.
Oh, I see. To
Yeah,
get the
there we go.
comments out of there. Okay, I gotcha.
So, all right, so
Pokimane discourse, which is
let me
very
preface
different.
this by saying like for me, so I didn't want to give a bunch of gas to like the actual toxic people, so we're not going to see like a bunch of toxic nonsense, but like for me personally, when a new Pokemon game drops, I'm, like, way more excited to go on r/Pokemon and, like, read all of the unhinged comments than I ever am about, like, the real Pokemon game. Like, that's the zone I live in as a person.
Uh, I mean, I don't know. Well, you and I have talked about it a lot. I don't know how much I've talked about Pokemon on stream before, but I haven't played a Pokemon. I haven't purchased a Pokemon game since Ruby. We were in middle school,
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting because 'cause you're not really on the Pokemon train like a lot of people are.
no, no. Like I played a Heart Gold randomizer a few summers ago, and I had a great time. And that is as
Oh, yeah.
much Pokemon as I have played in, like, actually, yeah, more than 15 years. So,
Yeah. For me, the last main line I mean, I played Sword and Shield and I had a decent time, and I played Arceus and I had a decent time. But I wanna say in the last few years, for me, I've kind of fallen off Pokemon. It's not been my thing as much, and I think, like, the way the direction that Game Freak has gone is just it's not my thing anymore, but, like, for me as a person, the route that I go with my life is I go, "Alright, well, I'm not gonna spend $70 on the new Pokemon game," like, that's choice A, and then choice B is someone, like, with their own free time like, they could, like, go for a walk and, like, get ice cream, or they could, like, call a friend, but there are people who, like, go online and like, type about all the like, that's, like, what's deeply fascinating to me is, like, I don't have the urge to go online and post, like, 12 paragraphs about, like, why I don't like Game Freak and why I'm disappointed, and that is, like, sort of central to why I'm, like, fascinated with people and the things they post online. Does that make sense?
it does because, like, I think I mean, I've never been like, I need to go on the internet and make a thread about something on Reddit or whatever. I have commented and replied to things on Reddit in the past. I do not do that anymore. That account is basically nuked. I don't log into Reddit or anything anymore either. So like,
Yeah.
it's like I guess I've been much closer to flirting with, I guess, what that behavior is. So I feel like I have a different perspective on it than you, and I think that's fundamentally kind of what colors the difference when I just am like, "Yeah, whatever." It's because like, I don't know, man, I guess I was in the trenches for long enough where I'm like, I've seen all of it so much, and you are entertained by it in a way that is more novel than it could ever be to me because of that exposure. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah, it does. And yes, and, like, that is sort of why, like, I sort of observe all of it as an outsider. It's like the same thing as when you go to the mall and you, like, people watch and you see somebody do something that you just never do, and I wanna get in the mind of that person and be like, Where are they at and what are they thinking about when they do that thing?"
Yeah, I yeah, I also I have other life experiences that I think give me a little bit of insight as to the type of person who will go and do those weird things on the internet, but I'm not gonna talk about them here, even though unfortunately they would be positive for the discussion.
Sure. And
So
let me also say too, like, I'm not interested in, like, ridiculing either. Like, I do sort of understand that, like, the guy who goes in and, like, writes, like, 12 paragraphs about Game Freak and all these terrible things and how they ruin their childhood and stuff. That person, it's entirely possible and likely that they're not in a good place in their life. And like I never have read it with like the intent of like I'm gonna make fun of this person or like I find them belittling or something. I'm just like interested in like what headspace you have to be in to do that, you know?
yeah, I think you're also sort of touching on another thing of just like I read that actually, you know what? I see the 12 paragraphs and I see the word Pokemon at the front of it, and I immediately go, "This person is unwell and needs someone to talk to." Like, that is the first emotion, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah,
uh,
I mean, sure.
like, before any of the other words are processed, I'm like, "Yo, I hope you're okay, dog." Also,
Yeah.
not gonna read all that. I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that it happened, you know?
Yeah. But all right, let's start
Let's keep
going
going
through
though,
some of the
because
things.
yeah, I got real thoughts. You know, I just kind of wanted to lay out for more everyone else. Like you and I have talked about this obviously
Yeah.
plenty. Well, enough for you to want to make it a specific segment on the show. So, you know, so let's do it. All right, that's the next one.
All right. So the first post, and you could sort of read this in your leisure if you want to go through all the comments, but it's a post that's basically like, is Pokemon ZA that bad? And someone has like a general, they have a genuine curiosity, like, yo, there's a lot of hate for the game. And so some of the highlights, uh, YouTubers make their money off being negative and controversial. I'm having a blast. Some people genuinely just being like, in my personal opinion, it's disappointing. And the one comment I found that really summed it up perfectly is this thread shows perfectly the discourse currently. I love one comment. I don't know if I put it in here, but one comment puts it great in one of these threads that's basically like people who have played the game say it's fun, and people who haven't played the game are like going on giant thrashes online about how it's a terrible game and they hate it even though they haven't played it. So you should probably just play it.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of the again, that's kind of I think the crux of all of this, right? Is we can so the Game Awards just happened, right? And
Yep.
Expedition 33 won nearly everything that it could. Like I think it
Yeah.
lost in 2 of the categories that it was nominated for, and in theory the only reason why it didn't get more of its potential nominations is because they had 3 actors in the best performance one, and obviously only one of them can win. So no matter what, those 2 were going to be impossible. So
Yeah.
so they won 9 out of a possible 11, I think.
11. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Um, anyway.
Wow, bro.
Well, we're talking about, you know, the downfall of any and all, you know, Western civilization. So you got to start there, you
Well,
know?
that's what you're
So,
talking about. See, you're trying to convince the
no,
viewers that life is
I don't
over.
think people who go on Reddit and get mad about Pokemon are the downfall of Western civilization. They are the symptom of greater problems, though. So, yeah, here's the thing.
Sure.
I haven't read this thread. Also, should I keep going? Like, is there more things I should
There's
go and
more, but
read?
we'll
Okay.
go in time.
Okay, I didn't know if
Um,
I should have already moved if there was more quotes or
no.
something. Okay.
So basically, like each slide we're gonna see is like either a post or a link to something, and then maybe some like highlights about why it's interesting. But actually, like I think why this is interesting in particular to me with Pokemon ZA is that they sort of dodged the drama. Like I feel like in general, there's a lot of and look, there are people who exactly like the first comment says, like unfortunately, the internet machine revolves on clicks, and there are people who are just like, I need to have a negative outrageous take so that people click my YouTube video. That's fine and that's different, but I think the normal discourse of this game online has been like, It's actually pretty good," which is cool. It's different.
Yeah, I think also fundamental to this is someone who goes on the internet and posts like that plays video games in a way like probably far beyond the way that I do, or and definitely that you do, right? So
Yeah.
it also is saddled with this other desire to like feel correct about something, I think. I don't know what all the emotions are. I'm sure it's a number of things, right? I don't want to distill anyone down to like just one whatever it is, but like trying to understand the undercurrent of like, you know, we talked about a bunch of games this year. All of like I have negative interest in ever playing a new Pokemon game like ever again. I
Yeah.
don't know what any of the new ones look like. You could show me literally hundreds of Pokemon that were a mix of fake ones and real ones, and I would not be able to tell you the difference most of the time because I have no idea. That's how out of touch with it I am, you know? So
Sure.
I have like no no like when it's like, oh, the game's janky and terrible, it's like, yeah, dude, Game Freak is given like probably like 9 months to make the video game actually for real. And because it doesn't seem like they're allowed to start it for whatever reason. I don't know. The schedule doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I know there's a whole media empire saddled up with Pokemon as well, but like you just think that with all the money they make that they'd be able to plan ahead for video games. And I think the real answer is quite frankly that the Pokemon company does not care about the video games anymore because there's way
Sure.
more money to be made at everywhere else. And also putting zero effort into the games, they still sell a bazillion copies anyway. The
Yeah.
last two Pokemon games outsold all of the other ones just like all the other ones did before it did. The quality has not mattered at any point in the franchise's history.
Yeah.
So, you know.
This game actually is not hot garbage though, like Scarlet and Violet, which is cool. From what
Well,
I can tell.
here's the other thing though. I heard that Scarlet and Violet technically is a mess and runs like garbage and blah blah blah, but that it was actually kind of fun to play.
Yeah, some people did like it.
You know, so but like I don't know, but also like that person's kind of fun to play is my I have no interest in picking this up, you know. So
Same. Yeah.
that's where I think that the difference kind of lies. And the person who has no interest in actually picking it up here's a bunch of people have fun with a game that they think is technically inferior and stupid, and maybe that is true. Maybe it
Yeah.
actually is technically awful and actually kind of dumb, but like, you know what, man? If like 22 million literal children want to play a video game because it's got their favorite characters in it, like, what are you going to do about that? You know?
Yeah. I will still highlight one of my favorite moments as a person where, like, another thing a lot of people who defend Pokemon come to say is they're like, bro, these games are made for kids. Kids don't care about technical specs, blah, blah, blah. And I remember a couple years ago, one of the kids I was teaching who was telling me how much she loved Pokemon was like, she's like, yeah, Scarlet and Violet is like literally actually broken though. Like an 11-year-old said that to me. So as much as people want to be like kids don't care or notice, like a kid did actually tell me that she cared and noticed. I mean, she still played it, but
Well,
that was like
the,
such a hilarious moment to me.
yeah, well, the last bit there's kind of the whole problem, right? Is they're like, well, we're
Yes.
going to buy it anyway. It's like, yes, exactly.
Sure. I
So,
mean, you
you
could
know,
buy it anyway. I mean, live your life, you know.
yeah,
Um
whatever. Yeah, so I have not given the Pokemon Company, I think, I don't even know if I've bought like Pokemon gifts for people. You know, like I haven't contributed to that empire in like any meaningful way ever because I certainly
wow.
didn't buy that game for myself in middle school. That was a gift. So,
Yeah. Wow. All right, bro, let's go to the next slide. Let's see what we got cooking
let's
next.
do it. Let's do it. Let's do it up.
Down arrow.
These
This one,
ridiculous Reddit posts.
Pokemon ZA is ridiculous. And this is like the pretty classic stuff I get into. You know, complaining about the game, thinking it's overpriced, thinking it's ridiculous. I think actually what's maybe a valid complaint that I'm surprised I'm saying is like part of the anger machine is they did announce a $30 DLC before the game came out. And I was like, man, remember when people used to get mad about like they would be like, that's what companies are gonna start doing. They're gonna be like withholding content and charging for it instead of releasing it with the game. Um
I got
I
bad
think
news.
that's
By the time people started to get worried about that, it was already happening. Now it's been happening so nakedly and openly for so long that it's just the norm. That's
right.
that's the thing is like people who were worried about this like dog, you caught one company got caught doing it. What do you think all the rest of them are doing?
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
Um, but you know, I think in this post too, if you were gonna read it, there were some reasonable takes again that are like, I don't know, it's not amazing, it's pretty fun. And then one guy is like, bro, quit your karma farming, either buy the game or don't buy the game. And I was like, that's my spirit animal right there. Uh,
No, 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 no. Here's the thing. I don't think that guy's your spirit animal because going into a thread and posting that you think the person only posted it to farm karma means that you think Reddit karma is important, and that's sad.
yeah.
You know, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
But in the sense of just like, bro, if you don't want to buy the game, you don't have to buy the game. Like
Yeah,
that's, you know, I
yeah.
was
It's
like, that's my
that sentiment. Yes, I agree with that. Obviously,
yeah. All right, let's move on. Not too much to this one,
yeah.
unless you have more to say. But
I mean, I you know how I feel about The DLC thing, I very much agree with. That's insane to me. Also, $30 DLC is crazy, dude. Shadow of the Erd Tree cost $40. Shadow of the Erd
Yep.
Tree is larger than almost every video game that's ever been made. So,
Yeah.
so like what are we talking about here, right? Like people being
Yeah.
upset about it is like it happens to be saddled to Pokemon, but it just swap the name out. It doesn't matter. This is just fundamentally a terrible thing that we should always be angry about 100% of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me too, like a huge crux of, I mean, I didn't buy Pokemon ZA. I might play it at some point. But for me, it's like when you're talking about a $70 game, just I as a person
it's
come with a lot more
$70.
scrutiny. Yeah, right.
So to play whatever that DLC content is, I have to spend 100 American dollars.
Yep.
Huh.
Right. That's what I mean. Right. And so I come with so much more scrutiny when
That's how
that's the
much
case.
Elden
And
Ring and Shadow of the Erd Tree cost full price.
yep.
Full price.
Yeah, and that's like exactly it's I mean, obviously we both frame it that way because we're
Full
both
price.
Elden Ring sickos, but yeah.
Elden Ring sold 25 million copies.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Pokemon numbers.
Yeah.
Only for one game, but
Yeah, but still, yeah, right. Like, I mean, when you're talking about $100, that's like a pretty, for me, that's like a pretty steep ask for any game.
it
Like,
that
so,
that's the thing, man. We're in an era of so much choice. So much choice. There are
yeah,
so many incredible games. The idea that anyone is going to be like, I'm going to charge more, people are just eventually going to be like, I got enough.
yeah,
There's a lot of good ones. I'm fine. That's fine by me. I'm just gonna pass. Like there is a tipping point where somebody's like, that's just out of my budget. I'm good with what I got.
yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna see a huge surge in the retro handheld world. And I know I said this already, but one of my friends at Thanksgiving, who like him and his wife are super normies. I mean, they're a bit older than the two of us, but I mean like they're like mega normies. Like his wife doesn't even know what like Twitch is, right? And she was like, "Oh, show Andy your little like gaming thing that you just got." And he pulled out of his jacket a retro handheld that he got for like $30. And he's like, "Yeah, it came with like 600 games on it or whatever. This thing's awesome." She's like, "Yo, let me play Super Mario World." And I was like, "Oh my god. We're living in a world where normies are just picking up retro handhelds and they think it's awesome." Like that I think that's going to become way more commonplace when you're talking about people are like, "Bro, why would I buy a Switch 2 for $500?"
Well,
you know?
yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is there's enthusiast versions of all that kind of stuff that you can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on, but like you said, you can find plenty of them for $50 or less that are like pretty decent. And if you're willing to spend up to $100, like and also
Sky's the
if you're
limit.
if you're remotely enterprising in any way, shape, or form, like you could already just kind of do that on a phone, like right now,
Yeah, well,
like
right.
right
Yeah,
now,
totally.
so like I people have so many alternate options for doing stuff that as soon as it becomes like, well, this is way too expensive a hobby to manage, like that's unfortunately this is Gabe Newell said this a long time ago. Piracy is a service problem. If you give people a reasonable way to access something like legally and on the up and up for like a good price, they'll just do it. That's what Steam is. That's why
Yeah.
Steam is on top, because he knows and he understands what makes people like actually tick and what they want to do, and they just made Steam that platform. And now Steam is so big, there's been multiple competitors that they're just never going to dethrone, because even if you made something a little bit better than Steam, which would be insane at this point,
Yeah, right.
um uh, you would still then have to convince us like, okay, so all of my thousands of dollars I've potentially poured into this account, you're asking me to abandon that and go to your service? Like, this is one of those, like, it is monolithic in a way that is a little worrying in the long term. Because
Sure.
as soon as anyone other than a well meaning Gabe Newell, who does still enjoy his yachts, that's why Valve makes like billions of dollars still,
He
yeah.
deserves them, I think.
You know what? That's the thing, man, right? It's not that every big company has some kind of evil thing going on somewhere. That's just how it is. There's no amount of money that exchanges hands that doesn't have something awful happening somewhere, whether we know about it or not. It's unfortunate. That's just the reality of it. But in the grand scheme of things, Valve is pretty low on my list of ones that I'm worried about. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess it is to say maybe there's some really heinous nonsense happening at Valve. I don't know. Uh,
Hopefully not.
I'm more worried about like all the stuff that we like know about that people don't do anything about in the games industry. Maybe we should start at all those places. Like, let's make I don't
All
know,
right,
Andy.
let's keep it light, let's keep it happy,
And
touch and go, touch and go. We're
see,
not
see,
to
see,
capitalism's
see,
gonna
it's
kill
Claire
everyone yet.
Obscure.
Not yet. We're not gonna get there yet. Let's do the next slide. Let's keep it moving.
Unrated.
Okay, actually, you don't need to click the link, just go to the next slide so you can see. Um,
Oh,
so
oh,
so this is
okay.
one of my this is a hilarious post. I think they made this post knowing that it was funny. So like one of the things that came with
Okay.
Pokemon ZA is they were like, we're gonna announce a bunch of new Mega Evolutions, and I think they have all been horrible, like except for one or two. And one person posted, I made this breakdown of why Mega Victory Bell makes sense to help other people cope with how horrible it looks. And that's just it. I was like, this is so funny. Like, I love that,
Plugged up.
uh,
The Super Saiyan's also
Super
very
Saiyan.
funny, but
Yeah.
similarly good at containing and transporting fluids. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the little like they made like a trailer for Mega Victory Bell, and it's funny because it like purposefully looks like a Resident Evil like horror trailer, and then they reveal him, and it's like, oh god, he's actually horrifying. Look at
Uh,
him.
but not in the way that you wanted it to be horrifying, Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, right. So
Huh.
anyway, funny stuff. I enjoyed this post.
Poor
I was like,
Mega Victory Bell. He got a raw deal on this one. Let's be
dude,
for real.
they all did, bro. They slaughtered my boy Dragonite.
Uh, it's a good thing I
They
don't even a little bit care about Pokemon anymore. Not
I care
anything other
very
than the
little.
stuff I have nostalgia for. Like literally just that, and not the remakes, and not like those Pokemon. Like that game in that time is what
Yeah.
I think fondly about Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. I think I'm pretty happy for the most part to um leave Pokemon as what it is, but we can move on. Great post.
Okay.
This is a great film that you should watch later. Pulse
Pulse
Effects
effects.
actually he have you ever watched his videos?
I don't think so, but also it could be one of those things where like I go to the channel, I go, oh, I recognize that icon, and then you
Yeah,
know,
maybe. So he's not quite a summoning salt, but he pretty much does videos of speed running, but like specifically with Pokemon. And he's released quite a few, not quite a few, but a few videos since Legend ZA has come out of like the first few speedrunners and how they made the first route. Um and this one is like uh how people accomplish the like complete Pokedex run in like 9 hours or something. It's just a great watch, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool. This is what we need out of the Pokemon community."
yeah, I do generally like those kinds of videos. I don't know if I care that much about a Pokemon one, but it'll probably go on the list at some point. You know?
Yeah, I mean, they're good films, you know? They're
Yeah,
worth checking out.
yeah. It's less, it's
Shout out
less,
to
it's
Pulse
less
Effects.
about pulse effects and more about like maybe I would watch a different pulse effects video over. You know what I mean? No, I mean
Yeah, well, Pokemon speedruns to me have always been really interesting because
I love the
they
super
kind of
busted old ones because the games were
Oh,
like
yeah.
not even kind of coded well. So they just like absolutely annihilate everything about them with arbitrary code execution. It's just like, how did you even figure out how to do that? They're like, I don't know, dude. The game's so busted, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, I like them all because, like, they sort of have the same problem of, like, any turn-based RPG where it's, like, they're really hard to optimize because the games are inherently super slow and very random. So, like, the crazy stuff that they do in some Pokemon games to speedrun is, like, absolutely wild.
Yeah, I do dig that. But again, more so on the old ones because it just seems like the stuff that they are able to do in the older ones is more interesting to me, you know? The games were just more able to be busted because that's just how older games were made, you know?
Yeah. You know what they do for some of the DS, Pokemon speedruns? To manipulate RNG to get, like, a great starter, you know, it's like, "Oh, if you press this frame perfect A at this exact time or whatever, it'll allow you to get a starter with like an insane nature that'll make it really fast." But what's weird is the RNG for DS Pokemon games is like based on the ID of your specific Nintendo DS. So if you want to do like an RNG manipulation, you have to like study your Nintendo DS and figure out the specific RNG manipulation for your machine that only works for you.
I oh,
Isn't that crazy?
it is, and I hate that because I know that people did it, you know?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do it. But it's crazy that, like, if you wanna speed run, like, Pokemon Diamond or something, you can't just, like, look up what the RNG manipulation is. You have to, like, figure out what yours is.
Yeah, that would be enough for me to be like, "Well, that was a fun idea."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's not for me. Alright, great film, next slide. Watch it later, you're gonna love it. Uh, this is this a video or is this a post? I think it's another post. How do you feel about Legend ZA? Um, and actually, this was cool. The internet in this post was generally not being a trash fire. Most people were like, "I like the game. It's cool. It looks a little bland. It might not be worth $70, but like, you're probably gonna have fun if you like Pokemon."
See, the one thing that this is missing right now, I'll say,
Yeah,
for future reference, if there are gonna be
sure.
future Reddit posts, you should at least say what subreddit the thread was on.
They're pretty much all r/Pokemon, I think.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if
May-
this was
may-
like, you found something weird on the front page or whatever, blah, blah, blah.
No, I think they were all r/Pokemon and r/Nintendo. Because did make note of that at the end. I was like, oh, I didn't put the subreddits.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's also good to know because I guess all I'm getting at is different subreddits have different propensities for, I guess, I'll say outsiders and stuff to come in. Um,
Yeah.
and which ones are like super dominated by like the fandom of that place. So the mix of comments that you see then changes pretty dramatically because of that. So I just trying to
Yeah.
like color the expectation. Well, maybe not expectation. The trying to figure out like what's going on in people's heads, you know? Because whenever you see there's always the one guy who's like a raccoon in a trash bag in a corner, like arguing with himself. It's like what's happening over there? You know that
Right.
happens like
Yeah.
everywhere. But
But I think again, like to sort of frame all of the posts that I personally find interesting is like again, I'm not interested in like an influencer or a YouTuber who makes money from being angry about stuff. They're like incentivized to be angry about stuff. I'm generally not finding people that like are entirely unhinged and are going to be mad no matter what the game is. Like I understand that that's a corner of people, but all the posts that I find interesting that I brought here are like this is someone who I can maybe wrap my head around why they feel this way and sort of fascinated about where their head is at. But actually this was a pretty positive post overall. I wanted to bring something positive because I know you're all about capitalism and death.
no, well, here's the thing. I'm explicitly not about those things. That's sort of like that's kind of
Not
actually
about
the whole thing. It's really it's
you
like,
love them.
no, not really. Nope, just
You
well,
love that they're both inevitable.
well, that's not true. Well, one is true. Yeah, death does come for us all. So,
Where we live, capitalism comes for us all too.
yeah, well, it didn't have to be that way. Anyways,
No.
let's move on.
I know how
Before
you
I
love
ruin
capitalism,
everything.
that's my guy. All right, next one. We only have a couple more, I think. I think we're
Okay.
nearing the end.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this this is another video you can check out later by a
That's the
guy named Smith
same.
Plays
That's like
Pokemon.
95 YouTube video titles in the first 5 minutes after this game came out.
What, that the hate is insane?
If you look up here, do this on your computer right now and tell me what happens. Copy and paste that exact title or type in that exact title in YouTube and tell me without doing any other filtering how many videos with that title show up.
But well, what you're saying, the response to the hate or that people hate the game?
No,
Because
no, no. Like I want you to go to YouTube and put the Pokemon Legend ZA hate is insane into the
all
YouTube
right,
search bar and hit enter.
I'm gonna send you. I did. I'm gonna send you the title of the first 4 videos, and you'll see how quick it turns around. You ready?
Okay.
The first video, Pokemon Legends ZA hate is so forced, 150K views. Second title, the truth behind the Pokemon Legends ZA hate, which I actually don't know is positive or negative. The third video title, I hate Pokemon Legends ZA in all caps. And the fourth, so your premise turned around after 1.5 videos. And the fourth one, uninstall Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm serious.
Oh my god. Well, here's the thing. All four of them are clickbaity
Of
titles.
course.
All of them,
Sure,
right?
but they're not like this guy, which is like trying to come to bat to say like people on the internet are crazy.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. The way let me frame to you the way that sentence or that video title was read in my head because I knew it came from a YouTube video title. It's the Pokemon Legends ZA hate is insane. That's what I heard it as in my head, and that's the tone I assumed the video was.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
actually, you can watch it later. It's a pretty reasonable video. What's a bummer about it is I don't know if this happened after I put the link in, but I went to look at it a couple days ago, and he delisted the video so that people could like so people were piling on him so much in a negative way that he had to be like, "Yo, I can't even." But no, it's really not like a
Hmm,
clickbaity video from what I can tell. He's just like, "Yo, look, I played this game. I've been looking at what people have been saying and like, holy crap, you know?"
hmm. Yeah,
Um,
here's the thing. I'd probably like it because I'd probably be like, yeah, he's super right. All you people need to like relax. It's not
and
that
then
big a deal.
actually I scrolled down a little bit, and there's a video titled Smith Plays Pokemon Defense of Pokemon Legends ZA is
Oh, here we
terrible.
go. Here we go. The reaction to the reaction.
who who watches this stuff?
Dude, apparently everyone.
It's only got
That's sort
14,000
of the
views.
is this all right, this is where we're gonna get into the technical part of it. Hey, quiet down back there.
Me?
No, I think I heard a baby for just a brief moment.
No, no, I clicked the one of Smith Plays Pokemon Defense is terrible, and
Oh,
it played volume for a
and it went,
second.
it made the Donkey Kong Country honk. It went, oh. I don't even know if that's gonna come through. That might get filtered by my microphone, but we'll see.
Maybe.
Um, what was I gonna say? Oh crap.
About how apparently everyone watches this.
Oh yeah. Well, this is where so it becomes the algorithm at one point in time was a thing that was catered to determining what it was that you liked and delivering you things that you like. We have used that for long enough where it became a negative feedback loop. And now the algorithm actually pushes stuff at people and people don't question things because everyone's used to an infinite feed for everything now. Like I don't I don't know how to describe to you how few people go on the internet and like go to a website. Like for real.
I'm like really interested in this question honestly because I think my gut sense is that like actually millennials are the only people who do because I feel like
Yes,
we grew
actually. That's the
like
weird part. That is our thing. That is the millennial
because
thing is we understand the internet specifically.
yeah, because I think we I think we like grew up in an era where we were the only ones online, millennials for the most part, right? And we understood that like you would go to a website to find a thing. And then once the internet became big enough, all the people older than us, like they didn't know about that because they were never on the internet when it was early enough that you needed to do that. And all the people who grew up with the infinite feed just assume that's the way it is.
Yes, exactly. You and I are 100% in alignment on this. Yeah, we I
But
we
I don't know if
rarely
that's
agree this
true.
hard on something, to be honest with you.
I That's my sense. I don't know if it's correct, but that's like my gut sense,
Now that
you know?
said, don't get me wrong. So there were probably like I'll say that it would be the youngest of the Gen Xers, because there were like like the people who truly understand the internet were like network engineers in the 80s. Like, the
Sure.
guys truly in the trenches on, like, understanding what networks were, right? And then also having all the stuff that we did and beyond, right? So there's like that. There is technically those guys, but I think there's just far fewer of them. As a large collective of normal people, millennials have the edge here because of all the stuff that you just said. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You ever see like a Reddit post of someone who's like, "Yo, I'm like 75 and I like worked on the early internet or whatever," and you're like, "Yo, what's this guy? This guy's on Reddit and he's
That
like
that 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 that
75?"
dude's like, I made a horrible, awful, terrible decision when I was younger, and now all of you are here doing what you're doing because of it. So you're
Yeah.
welcome. That's what I feel like that would be like.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess this is a way to sum up that like if you want to go down the insane YouTube rabbit hole, there's like a whole ecosystem of people who were like primed to show up and be really mad. I don't know how much you want to do that because like I don't see those people as like reasonable or healthy or like bringing good criticism or good thought to like the game design of whatever. But like that hate machine is there, I guess, if you're interested in it. I am mildly interested in it if people have something intelligible to say. But I think Smith Plays Pokemon kind of did. Like he basically was like, "Look, I'm having fun with the game. I'm like seeing people's complaints about XYZ, and I think maybe they're reasonable. But like my personal take is like this game is fun. And I guess uh he had to delist the video because everyone harassed him so much. Poor guy.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's a shame. Well, here's the thing. Also, I'll say I think even people who are well intentioned or actually generally speaking are like pretty well informed on something. Sometimes you do just get really riled up about something in a way
Sure.
that like I know I've done that before. Actually I can think of a very specific example, and this will probably be like a weird person to bring up because it's probably not someone who people think of as like has intelligent thoughts on things because of his nature on the internet as pee pee poo poo uh, burpee fart man, Aaron Hansen, Ego Raptor, the sequelitis on Mega Man X, and how excellent that video still is, breaking down what's
Sure.
good about Mega Man X, and then I don't remember if it was a sequelitis specifically, but the other video that he made about Ocarina of Time, that is just an angry Reddit comment in video form about Ocarina of Time. It's like, even if I agree with him because I don't care for that game for all the same reasons he doesn't, it's just not like actually a good critique of the game in any
Oh, I
way, you
disagree.
know?
I disagree. I think that video I mean, like, I think that video was made like 60% for entertainment value and like 40% for like I'm gonna break down the game design of this game. But I'm surprised to hear you say that because I feel like he
I'll have to
does
watch
have a
it. It's
pretty
been a while since I watched it, but I remember watching it going like, I agree with all these points, but like if I was on a debate team with a guy and he was going off that way, I'd be like, dude, you gotta like that was
well,
how I remember
sure.
feeling about it after watching it. But maybe my opinion has changed on the video as well. So
Yeah, you should watch it. I remember like one of the things he says pretty early in I mean, first of all, the whole video has like a sense of like I kind of understand that I'm gonna get crucified and I understand that like this I'm kind of making fun of myself a little is the sentiment of the video, but he does say pretty early in the video like I get that you grew up with this game, but like isn't it maybe time for like gaming as a whole to like really interrogate whether this game has stood up and like what things we can learn from it instead of just saying it's a masterpiece without digging into it more specifically?
Oh yeah, and I guess like Zelda puzzle design and what certain things what it actually brought to gaming are the elements we should talk about. But we don't talk about it. We just go Ocarina of Time, best game ever. Because I think the problem is that he's right, is that the average I don't mean average person in circle of everyone you know who's ever played video games. I mean in the grand scheme of things, the ball and gun type guys. I don't know if you saw that tweet.
Ball and gun
Yeah,
type
there
guys.
was I have to find it. It's a guy just like it was like a reaction image of like somebody freaking out. It's just like dudes when they have to play a game that doesn't have a ball or a gun in it. Which is yeah. So when I say the ball and gun guys, that's who I'm talking about because you do know exactly who I mean, right? I mean the
Wow,
ball
that's
and gun
hilarious.
guys, right? You know, like that's who
Yeah,
I'm
it's
thinking
funny.
about. You know what their thought on Ocarina of Time is after they've heard a billion people say best game ever. They're either a contrarian because they're a ball and gun guy, or they just parrot it because they have no idea. And because that's
Hmm.
almost every person who plays video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just by sheer numbers, the discourse around it is gonna be stupid because they're not actually engaged with the medium. They show up, they buy a game maybe twice a year. Maybe they buy the ball and the gun game. They usually pick a ball game or a gun game, and then they get that one every year, and then they don't play any other games. You know,
Yeah.
so I, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. That's why it's so hard to meter out like what meaningful discourse is because you realize now with the internet and everybody able to say something is that actually almost everybody doesn't actually engage with the thing on any
And
intellectual way. And that's just always how people have been, but we've never had to reckon with that. But now we do. So,
well, and moreover, like half the stuff you read on the internet is fake anyway. It was posted by a bot. So
oh yeah, did we talk? I know you and I have talked about it, but yeah, I've at least something to say on the podcast. Yeah, the Twitter actually being proven to be 2/3 bots, hysterical, amazing.
yeah, right.
Listen,
Sure.
I could have told you that having concrete proof from the website itself on accident is the funniest thing that could have happened.
See, and here's the other thing too, which is why like I'm maybe less bothered than you by this stuff is like I don't like an internet comment to me is like it's like not real. Like it's not I mean like it is real in the sense that like I can read it with my eyes, but it's not real in the way that like I can go make a sandwich. Like I just don't care. Like I get that someone posted it, but to me it's like all imaginary anyway. Like it's like you know what I mean? Like no one's sitting on their deathbed is like I'm so glad I made that comment on Reddit. Like that's not a real thing that you can do with your time. Like you know what do you get what I'm saying?
No, here's the thing. I agree with you in the second half of it, but I think the problem is almost everybody agrees with you that it's an imaginary thing and not real, but it's not that I think that person actually is going to go on their deathbed and be like, "Oh, the Reddit comment," that's not what I'm saying, but like they're not thinking about it from that perspective. They're just like this is a monolithic thing that has always been there and you shout into the void and it shouts a bunch of things back at you and that's just how the world works. You know what I mean? Like, well, I was just talking about how we don't engage with anything intellectually. We don't even engage with the concept of that kind of communication in a way that lets us conceive of what it is that we're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's why people just shout things. Whereas me, I do look at it differently. I go, I know aside from the bots because that does exist and it's getting worse, right? But
Many, many bots.
I know aside from those, which it's just getting harder and harder to tell which ones are those. That's really the only difference. There's always been bots. But the ones that aren't bots, I know is just like me sitting in a chair at a computer on a keyboard or with some sort of mobile device in their hand or like you are on the other end of this Discord call doing things because that is the only way without the robots that it happens, right? Somebody had to choose to do it. And that's why when I think about it too much, it bothers me because I'm like, because you think about it, you're like, man, I can't believe somebody wrote 12 paragraphs about how much they hate Pokemon. I'm like, man, I wish that dude would like do anything other than write 12 paragraphs about Pokemon with this day. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to.
Well, sure, but, like, I mean, but that's, like, another reason it's fascinating to me too is because like, I'm generally not gonna do that because I don't see it as, like, a real activity most of the time, you know?
Yeah, and I guess that's where I'm the outlier in this scenario, and I
Are you?
realize that, I absolutely
Okay.
am, so I think most people look at it the way that you do. That's at least my sense, like
I don't think that's true.
people don't take it seriously in a way that makes them think it's all not real, and I guess I have lots of thoughts more so on the geopolitical side on like, hey guys, I think actually you should have paid a lot more attention to how this internet
Oh,
stuff
well.
is cuz like it made way bigger of a difference than anyone wanted to admit, and that's the problem. You let it happen because you didn't believe it could, you know.
Well, sure, sure, and that's, like, a real like, that's sorta separate, I agree, but I think a lot more people do think it's real, otherwise they wouldn't be posting about it, you know what I mean?
I I don't know, man. I guess it depends cuz again, I decidedly don't have a non-millennial normie view of the internet. I have like about as far away a view of the internet as that person has. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
just we live in different universes. We perceive the internet in completely different ways. And
yeah,
I it just seems to me like if people did take it seriously, like if you if you took it seriously enough where you thought that you were walking into a room and saying that thing to another person, right? You wouldn't do it, right? That's how I feel about it, right?
yeah.
Because you realize it's like this is insane. Why would I ever do this? Like it's just and we've kind of normalized the idea of communicating that way. And so when you have people who are out of touch and they only communicate that way via the internet, as soon as they go to things in person, they don't know how to act like a human being. They just will try and communicate that way, but to other people, and everybody's gonna look at them like, "What are you doing? What's happening? Why are we here?" Well,
I mean, I've never encountered someone in real life that does that.
dog, you know the school I went to. I'm not gonna dox myself, but
Alright, let's keep moving on.
I was
We're o
born in it, molded by it.
molded by it. Alright, let's continue. We got a couple more slides. We're making it to the end here. It's not gonna be sad. Alright, Pokemon Lazarus actually, no, go to the next slide. We're gonna circle back
Wha
because I wanna end
I
more
I
positively.
can't
Go
believe
to the next slide.
he put a
Go
not safe for
to
work
it.
link in my Twitch stream. Are you kidding
Go.
me?
Well, there just like there's curse words. There's a couple curse
Oh,
words,
I'm
that's
gonna curse at you right after this.
go to the next slide.
I'm gonna
Alright,
kill you in
so
real life.
we're gonna circle back to the positive one. Um,
Okay.
like, okay, I just wanted to sort of to put it in here. I didn't put any link because I don't wanna give, like, the unreasonable hate attention, and I don't even know how much we have to talk about this, but, like, obviously, there's, like, an entire world of, uh people being like overly insane. But what's kind of cool about ZA in particular is that there are a lot of people like this game has been received pretty positively and a lot of people seem to really like it, which is cool. But this is sort of again me justifying. I gravitate towards the disappointed but reasonable threads on Reddit or YouTube. Like what I hope and assume real people are saying about Pokemon and not the insanity. But there's insanity. We know it. It's there.
Oh yeah, and well that's why I think like you said your friends earlier who you described as like the most normie people, like they would probably play Pokemon and be like, "Yeah, it's Pokemon.
I caught a little electric mouse guy. He's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's cool."
Yep. All right, let's go up. We'll end on the positive one. Pokemon Lazarus came out like I think a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. Which slaps. How much do you know about Pokemon Lazarus, Tommy?
I know that I thought you mentioned that you were checking it out. That's about
Yes,
as much
I
as
am
I know
playing it.
about it. Yeah.
So the creator of Pokemon Lazarus has made at least one other um Pokemon ROM hack that people really love called Emerald Sea Glass, which is it's kind of a demake of Pokemon Emerald actually. It looks like Gen 2 style, but it's like really polished and the art style is like unbelievably good. And it's just been like really, really cool and received positively. But this year he came out with it's sort of like a brand new region. It looks like a Gen 2 game. It looks excellent. It's got like, completely self-made sprites, like all the artwork was done by him. Um it's got like some regional variants that you see in like the newer games as well as mega evolutions and like some regional variants that he made. There's also like Gen 9 Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet in it. It's just been a really, really cool, excellent ROM hack that came out this year. And like people have been talking about it so much that like the Pokemon fan community is basically like, yeah, ZA came out this year and Lazarus came out this year. Those are like the two official Pokemon games, which is super cool to see people positively like, gravitating towards this fan game.
Oh yeah. Well, I like I said before, the last Pokemon game I played was a randomizer of Heart Gold. Which isn't a fan game, but basically just like, hey, how do we take Pokemon and just twist it beyond whatever Game Freak gave us? And
Yeah.
I think that's a winning formula because here's the thing, man. Fundamentally, what Pokemon is a cool and fun idea. I get my cute little dudes and the really strong ones and the cool ones, and I find the types that I like, or however it is you want to form the party. It's easy enough where it doesn't really actually matter that much what you do, and if you care about it, you can do more with it. It's a great scalable experience. The problem is it just the people outgrew the scaling, I think, which is where like they're like, oh, I think the game should be better. Like, yeah, dude, I also think the game should be better, but I don't buy Pokemon because it is a game made for children. We are just old
Yeah.
enough now to not be the target demographic. You just still like Pokemon. That's
Yeah.
the reality of it. Like,
And
it's
that's
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 fine, but like we just need to like admit that.
Yeah, and that's kind of the cool thing about if you're somebody like me or many of the other 30-year-old white men who who like love Pokemon and used to love Pokemon but are like I'm just not interested in what Game Freak is still making.
Yeah.
There is this entire world of cool stuff that is being made by people that is more for us and is worth checking out. And I haven't played a lot of Pokemon ROM hacks or fan games to be honest with you, but this one I'm like on the seventh gym right now. I'm playing it super casually, like I played other Pokemon games, but it does feel like uh something that Game Freak would have made. Like it feels that good, which is cool.
Hmm.
The only bummer about this is I believe the creator is LGBTQ. I'm not sure if that's the case, but in the game he did put some characters that are like openly LGBTQ and like unfortunately there have been some insane people on the internet who have swarmed and thrown a lot of hate at the creator because they're ridiculous. But what's cool is all of the community have really like come to this creator's defense and been like, "Yo, you're all being ridiculous, and this game rules." So, the creator did make a response, which I put the link here on Reddit of just like, "Hey, thanks everyone for supporting the game." He does curse in it, but there's nothing inappropriate in it, and there are Jesus.
And then Andy died telling the story.
And there are
The end.
also some cool reviews in general on Reddit of people being like, "This game is great. This is why I love it." So, um, in the end, the internet discourse was positive and cool, and it ended up being fun to read and cool this year because there was like this great game that came out of it, Tommy.
What?
And there's one more little bonus slide. So I don't know what you have to say about Pokemon Lazarus, but we have one more bonus
Yeah. Well,
slide
you know,
whenever
you know
you're
my
ready.
feelings on basically. Here's the thing. Unironically, the fact that nobody else is decided to like they tried to spend $400 million to make Concord, but nobody was like, what if we actually made Pokemon, but like for adults for real? Like for people with like brains who want to engage with a more complex system, like because that's literally all I want. It's just a little bit, just a crumb of some kind of actual meaningful opposition at any point in the
The
game.
problem is the problem is there are lots of indie games that are, like, trying to do that, but,
Yeah, dude,
like
I played Cassette Beast. I like that game a lot. But you know what? I can't get a Charizard in Cassette Beast.
right.
I can't get
Yeah, so,
Lucario in
like
cassette piece. And that's the problem is Pokemon is a monolith that has that for it. And all they need to do is just give one team the freedom to like make another game that actually has like some juice to it, some oomph.
well, ZA does, I think. I mean, I don't know how much you know about it, but, like, from everything I've
I'm gonna be
seen.
honest with you. I saw a clip of gameplay of about 10 seconds. I was like, wow.
You
And I
didn't like
turned
it.
it off.
Yeah. I mean,
So
fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough, but in terms of it being, like, a big evolution and a big, like, change in, like, what Pokemon is, like, they did put a lot of effort into that, and people like it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. If people like again, almost all of the people who are liking and playing Pokemon are children. Like
Honestly,
that's the thing. Like there's a lot of adults who play it too because there's a lot of people who grew up with it, but there are still far more kids who are going to be getting the game literally no matter what because they're going to ask their parents for it and that's what they're going to get for Christmas or a birthday or something.
yeah, for me, honestly, if Pokemon ZA was $40, I would have bought it and it would have been a no-brainer. I would have been like, fine, like that's cheap enough that the game looks cool and I want to try it out. My only reservation is that it's $70. But I think in terms of it being a cool game, everyone I know who's played it is like, this is a cool game and I like it.
You know, here's the thing. I'm especially salty and butthurt about the $70 price point, actually. And I don't know if you really knew this
Yeah.
because
Same.
the first one I gambled on was the most mediocre game I've maybe ever played in my entire life. Black Myth Wukong. That game
Dark Souls 3.
it is the most 5 out of 10 game that has ever existed.
Yeah.
It is a bunch of things. It's pretty. It looks cool. The animations are great. It is
Yeah.
the most basic form of any idea of any of the concepts just stapled together and you have no idea where you are because there's no sense of place or direction. It is just an
Yeah,
Unreal Engine 5 tech demo.
the $70 world for me is like a lot less palatable. Like especially because there's just so many cool indie games I can get for like 15, $20 on Steam. Like I'd rather buy one or two of those and try them. And even if they like weren't amazing and didn't change my life, like I supported a real person who made a game. They're usually cool and fun. Like whatever. Like there's just no reason to spend $70 unless it's really worth $70, but how many games are nowadays?
Yeah. Oh, actually, here's the thing. I told a little fib because I forgot that God of War Ragnarok was $70 and I did buy that before. Yeah. Yeah. You bought that game too.
I did.
And
It was
you know what?
not worth $70 to
I
me.
mean, here's the thing. Generally speaking, we're never gonna think almost any game's worth $70 just because that is the tipping point, I think, in all of our brains of like, that's too much for a video game. Like
DK Bonanza was worth $70, no question.
yeah, well, I mean, I would have said Elden Ring was worth $70, you know, right? But it came
Sure.
out before we did that. But yeah, it's just
It's not never, but it's almost never.
yeah, that's where I'm with you. Like I would have preferred. I'm not like mad that I spent $70 on Ragnarok because I did enjoy that game. But like you know, yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's weird.
60 was already, like, barely palatable for me.
Yeah,
Like, I was already picky with
that, that
60.
that's the thing. Like I know we're talking about a price difference of $10. People are like, oh, it's only $10 more. Like yeah, but they already did that like 3 times. Now that's $30, which would have been from $40 what these games used to cost a long time ago.
Yeah.
Dude, it's now
Well, and
almost double that. So yeah, like I understand that people are like, oh well, the price hasn't increased in a long time. It's like, yeah, but twice you don't people don't think about what twice as much actually is. It means you play half as many games for the same money,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and again, for me, it's a pretty simple calculation when, like, the games I'm more interested in most of the time, or not even most of the time, but, like, a lot of the time games I'm interested in, I can get for way cheaper than that. So,
Mhm.
like, it's just like, why? Spending $60 feels like a real it's just not a necessity unless it's a game I really, really wanna play. I mean, even Expedition 33 was only 50.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Only
Oh, did
50.
you
Alright.
see right, so right before I think it was right before the Game Awards actually happened, the budget numbers finally came out for it. That game cost less than $10,000,000 to make,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and it's maybe one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah, it's awesome. Alright, let's finally scroll down. It might be 2 slides, 3 slides, but let's go to the final slide. This is where the story of everything sorta wraps up in my
Is it this
personal
one?
fascination. Yeah, it's this one. Because Pokemon, the story of me following the video game drama this year has been interesting because everyone seemed to kind of like Legend ZA, and I didn't get to like really dig into the drama the way I wanted to. But then Metroid Prime 4 came out, and holy crap, did people go cuckoo bananas on the internet about Metroid Prime 4. And that's like where I'm really, really eating the drama this time of year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that was so that all stirred up around the time there was that preview thing that all those people got to go do, and it was in the specific section of the game where they were showing off the NPCs, and the NPCs in those sections are a little chatty. But they're not there for, like, almost all of the game, but they were there for the entire preview. So, when everybody came back and was like, "Yeah, there was a bunch of NPC chatter," the whole internet took that and ran with it and extrapolated it out to the entire game because people there is no room for nuance. There's only, like, "This thing is in it, thus." The whole thing is it's like, I don't know.
From what I've seen in reviews, and I've heard and read a few now, is like it is a genuine problem for the whole game. It's not just like a this was a bad preview and it doesn't represent the game. It is an issue that plagues the entire game along with like a bunch of others. Um
Here's the thing. The others thing is I won't comment on those gameplay things because I haven't played it, but I have heard like the bike stuff is apparently not super fun, etc.
I think he has this character is like a lot like Atreus, where like he'll pipe up and say something annoying, like right as you're trying to solve something, and people will be like, "Bro." And I don't think that's like a just a preview. I think he does that for most or all of the game.
No, no. So I went I don't remember the creator's name, but like one of the people who was part of the preview event that people latched on to about being really annoyed by the NPC thing, when he did his review of the full game, he went, "Hey, it's just in a couple sections that it's like that. Like you go to an area and there's an NPC in the area and you do a little thing, and then they're like, okay, see ya. And then you go off and you do your thing for the rest of the game, so they're not there." So, like, it is isolated sections of the game that are like that, that maybe people are annoyed by, but it is not like this is happening the whole game,
I
is
think the
what.
character that people hate like literally hops on your intercom and like calls Samus on the phone throughout the game.
Oh,
Like he follows you for part of the game, but I think the whole game he'll hop on and be like, "Hey Samus, you should try going to this place now that you have a double jump."
no. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, like this is actually kind of like my prime zone of where I'm fascinated because like the game
Nice.
released, it's not like unfinished, it's not terrible. Like it's not a bad game, but like it seems clear to me that from what I've heard and read is like the thing that people like Metroid for, like the reason they like Metroid games was like kind of straight up botched for whatever reason. Like the game just it wasn't interesting. People are not happy that it didn't like introduce any like new ideas or interesting puzzles or whatever. It has like a stuff that really irks people. And like to me, if I can picture the anvil that is like video game drama, like Looney Tunes style, like it was falling and Pokemon somehow was able to step out of the way and like it landed on Metroid. And I'm like, yo, what a weird, I would have not expected that in 2025.
Here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest, I get that it's not like a bad game. They're like, "Oh, it's not super bad." It's like, okay, Andy, what year do you think Metroid Prime 3 came out?
Three?
3.
Um like 2009 or something.
Close. 2007. It's actually 2 years
Yeah,
sooner than that.
it
It
was a
is
long
it
time
has
ago.
been almost 20 years. That game got announced in 2017. From that
Yeah.
point, it had production troubles and rebooted developments at least once, maybe more than once.
Yep.
And whatever tumultuous stuff happens prior to the announcement to even get it like greenlit to really be made, right? So on some level, it's kind of both simultaneously not surprising that it came out like a mess because of the troubled production history, but also what there's no excuse for the game to be mid at this
Right.
point. Like none.
Yep.
There really isn't. Like Metroid's a winning formula. It has been for a really long time. Metroid Dread came out and proved that once again people like Metroid for being Metroid, right? It's not like Metroid's never been gangbuster seller, but Metroid Dread was a great game executed super well and it did all the things that Prime 4 cuz again, the good part about what makes Prime unique is Prime is less a shooter and more what if we just put the camera in Samus's helmet and you just kind
Yeah,
of play a
right.
Metroid game? That's why Prime 1 is so good. I love that game. I love Prime 1 so much. It's such a good game. It's not my favorite like shooter to play as a mechanical shooter, but it's a great game, you know.
Right.
So I guess them somehow just like completely losing the plot on what Prime made Prime specifically good is again, it was still Metroid at its core. They could have added a
Right.
bike and that would have been fine, you know? Uh,
Yep.
they probably could have had a like, Adam talks to you in Metroid Fusion a whole bunch of the game. That was fine, you know?
Yep.
I there were ways to do all of those things, like, in a way that has worked in the franchise previously, and they just didn't.
Yep.
So I get why people are upset about this, honestly. Like I
I
really
I do
truly
too.
think
Yeah.
this is justifiable. Like I'm sure people are, like foaming at the mouth mad or whatever, but like I would also be really upset if like if Prime 4 was like my Half-Life 3. You know what I mean? Like if it really
Yeah.
was my Half-Life 3 and then it came out and I thought it was like super okay. I would be really upset. I would be really disappointed, because I already kind of did this hype cycle for myself with Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, and that game is a lot of fun to play, and it delivered on exactly 0 of the other things that I wanted it to do, and I have had a hollow feeling in my heart about that game ever since, you know?
Yeah.
I
I
will never
gotta
view it different, you know?
I gotta say, I wonder if I'm just, like, not as connected to the hype or if it's just never happened to me, but I can't think of my game where that has happened, where I was, like, super excited for a long
What do
time and
you
it came out and it really let me down.
okay. I was
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
I didn't know the second half was coming. I was gonna be like, I was like, Andy, the game we're talking about is Silksong. The game
Yeah,
that I
but,
thought
like
this slideshow was gonna be about.
but the thing is, even with Silksong, I was like, I'm excited for it, but, like, I have no illusions that I might not like it, and it might not be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it might not live up to what I personally want it to be. I
The
think me
only
as a
thing
person
funnier than it not being real would it being coming out and being really bad.
here's the thing, is I think it's more that I am as a person, I'm more open to, like, seeing what a game is about as opposed to, like, expecting it to be one way. Like, and
Yeah.
obviously, like, in the case of Metroid Prime 4, it kinda doesn't matter what you expect it to be, it sounds like it's just kind of a lame game, and that's okay, but I think for me, like, before Silksong came out, I was like, "I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be easier. I don't know if it's gonna be harder." It turned out that it was, like, insanely way harder, but, like, I'm open to, like, let me see what that's about and check it out before I decide it has to be one way.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've definitely gotten swept up in expectation and stuff before too. It's not we're not immune to it, right? But I'm better about it now. Um But yeah, I
Yeah.
that was kind of the thing that like I just mentioned before, Metal Gear Solid 5. That was the game that kind of taught me of like, yo, what if you what if you simply didn't, you know? Like, oh, you didn't have to get that excited for it, and then you wouldn't have had this weird hollow feeling in your chest about how you didn't actually get what you wanted out of the Phantom Pain, you know? Fun game,
Yeah.
great to play. Played it probably actively. I played that game for like 400 hours, like no joke. Like just doing open world stuff because the gameplay mechanics in it are more fun than anything else in that franchise by like 2 orders of magnitude, straight up.
Yeah.
But it's not a Metal Gear game, you know?
Yeah. I think the most I've actually genuinely been hyped in my life is for Tears of the Kingdom. Like that's the one time in my life that I was like every day for months like thinking about it and getting excited for it and whatever. But I wasn't let down by it. I was way into it.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had any other ones like that. I'd have to think. Uh, I don't even know if I have any other white whales other than literally Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
Like I use that as the joke, but that's really the one. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, man, I don't know if this has been fun
I
or
like this.
uplifting or depressing. I just, I was like we spend so much time where like I'm trying to convince you that like my insane way of life of like reading all of this crazy stuff on Reddit of the weird fan stuff. I was like, let me compile it all, make Tommy look at some of it and try and convince him that this is interesting and I'm not crazy. And I don't think that fully worked the last part.
Well, I mean, you are crazy. See,
Yeah,
here's the
right.
thing, Andy. This is the difference between you and me. Okay,
Yeah.
I've talked to you about Castles of Beast numerous times.
Yeah.
So it's Pat and Willie. You've not listened much to the podcast. Pat and Willie are
Don't care.
Pat and Willie are both crazy. Okay, I love them both. They're both nuts though.
All right.
Pat is exactly my kind of crazy, where he knows
Mhm.
he's crazy, and in the moment that he knows he's being crazy, instead of being like, "Oh, I'm being crazy, I'll stop," it's I'm gonna lean into it and like double and triple down for the bombastic nonsense. And
That doesn't
you,
describe me
oh
also.
no
What are you
no no no
talking
no
about?
no no no
Okay.
no no no! When you do something crazy, you will refuse to admit it's happening and be like, I didn't do that. And then I'll be like, no, what are you talking about? And then we're both like yelling at each other and you're laughing because you have realized that I'm correct. And that's your type
No.
of bug in your brain. See,
No.
you're
You
doing
are
it right
no.
now.
No. You're not
on the
describing
on the
reality.
podcast. It's
At
happening
least in this
currently.
at least in the sense of you've never seen me double down on being crazy. Do
No,
you
no,
want to
hold on.
check your text
Hold on.
messages of this week?
No. I know. Here's the thing. We both will do both of those things sometimes. But I think
Oh, well, yeah.
my propensity is to flip the table on the entire conversation and just and root. And that's also the ADHD side of it. You know, I'm gonna do that. You know, but you are more likely to be like, no, what I said is normal, and I'm like, no, it's not, dude.
I don't
You're
think
like,
you
it
fully
is
realize
so.
that when I'm doing that, I'm specifically messing with you. Like
Yeah.
I think
No.
what you're not aware of is I know that it's crazy and I'm like
Well,
I'm
hold
pretending it's
on.
not just to get you riled up.
I wanna split something here. Yes,
All right.
you do that. I think there's also other times where you're like, no. I'm like, no, Andy, that's not reality, dude.
That's never happened. It's never happened once. You can't name a single
Okay, no,
time
not
that's
once.
happened.
Interesting, huh? Recorded live on the internet.
Oh, geez. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, yesterday morning, I was like, I'm getting Tommy so genuinely mad, and I was like all about it.
but hold on, wait. Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
But I wasn't at all. Just I don't know if you realize this. You just kind of described the microcosm of the internet, like right there.
Well,
You
I thought you were because at one point you were like, "Bro, I'm just trying to convince you to play a game that you like. Like, chill out." And I was like, "Oh, Tommy's actually mad right now."
no, no,
I
yeah,
thought you were actually mad.
okay, all right. Here, I'm gonna describe. Here, let's describe. I'm gonna describe Andy being
Oh, no.
insane right now.
Yes. I
He's like
did, and
he texted me. He goes, "Bro, I gotta play Silk Song again." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Did you see the news? Because hysterically somehow Team Cherry has announced DLC for Silk Song, and it's free, and that's fine, and that's wonderful. The people are gonna get more content and not pay any money for it. I'm not that's like my favorite thing with video games is when that happens.
yeah,
But the idea, I just I want to posit to you,
yeah.
you somehow in the year of our Lord 2025 convince me sometime over the summer to complete Hollow Knight to get me excited for Silksong, which I do own and have not played any of because I wanted to give Team Cherry money because it's only $20 for what is ostensibly a wonderful, great game that I am going to play at some point.
I didn't convince you to complete Hollow Knight.
No. This I'm throwing the hypothetical out here. So this is
Oh,
this is
okay,
a this
gotcha.
alternate universe.
Oh,
We're
okay,
we're
got
back
it,
we're
got it.
back in like June, and I'm like playing Hollow Knight, and I beat it, and I go, wow, what a great game! Because I'm sure once I finally get there, and I'm not burned out on unfamiliar experiences, that I will do that and like it. And then I play with you the whole game through. And we don't have to talk about what happens in Silk Song or whatever. Maybe I play it a second time, maybe. And then I'm probably not going to play that game again, maybe ever, because that's
Yeah.
kind of how I am with that. And
Okay.
then this gets announced.
Yeah.
I would drive to your home and beat you up.
Here's the thing.
Because but you're gonna play this game like 4 times in a row. Anyway, the flip side of
Listen.
why Andy's crazy is hold on,
Wait,
wait, no, I have to get to the end of
wait.
the you crazy part. No, because he's doing it right
Alright,
now.
you finish, and then I'm gonna say my thing at the end,
Okay.
okay? Go ahead.
So he's gonna play Silk Song again to play this DLC because he's like, well, I have to start the game from the beginning because I can't just go to a DLC in the middle. And then I was like, yeah, dude, just play the Expedition 33 update. He goes, well, I can't just go back to a DLC in the middle. I'm like, Andy, it's not a DLC. They added one area in the game where you have to load the save and walk into a place, and then it's just you just kind of do some stuff. He's like, yeah, but I haven't played the game in a while, so like I can't. I'm like, Andy, you do not need to replay the entirety of Expedition 33 to walk into this singular area to go and have a good time. I didn't change my build once. I didn't change equipment or anything. I walked in and I did everything to the end.
Look,
So
alright, let me say a couple things. Part A
I also hadn't played the game once.
Part A is I'm not I'm Part A is I'm not gonna play the Expedition 33, and I'm not gonna defend that because I know that that's weird. But I'm just not gonna pick it up and jump in. Like I'm just that's not how my brain works. Part B, and this is sort of the crux of the whole thing, is I don't think you're fully aware that like I'm probably not gonna replay Silk Song. I woke up and I said, "What's the funniest way that I can tell Tommy that they announced an expansion for Silk Song?" And it was with the phrase, "I'm gonna have to play Silk Song again," which I said specifically because I thought it was funny and it would get you mad.
Yeah, no, but here's
That's like
but here's the thing though. We both know you're gonna do that though.
I don't, but like
You see,
probably not, and
the man says
probably not.
at the end of his fourth Elden Ring playthrough, just cause
Second,
already played Silk Song
second,
twice.
second. I've only beat the Elden Beast once. It's only my second playthrough technically.
That is definitely you don't get to walk and look at the final boss and be like, I didn't beat the game. Basically, it's
I
like
didn't
that
make it to the final boss. I made it
when the
to
game's 100 hours. That's basically beating it. You know what I mean?
look. I'm probably gonna play Silk
See,
Song
this,
again.
this is where he goes. He goes. Oh crap! I gotta. Oh
It's too
man. Oh,
funny.
he's right.
That's the thing. Is this is too funny. Like I love the bit that I'm like I'm gonna play it for like an eighth time and you get mad. Like that
I'm
I
no,
have
but
to
no.
say it.
I'm not mad. I'm mostly. There's the part of me that's like, I really did ruin Andy's life. I think. Like.
With Elden Ring?
Yeah.
But you didn't convince me to play Elden Ring.
No, I know. We talked about this on the. I did. We talk about this on the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah. But
Yeah, we still talk about it.
yeah. Yeah. We just bring it up
Um,
again. We should bring it up every episode. Actually.
I'm almost at the end of Farum Azula now, so I beat Melania's second try, so
Yeah, that's yeah, because yeah, remember when you were like, This
I
man
don't
beat
know.
Promised Consort Radahn on the second try. Spoiler
I
alert
don't
for Elden Ring: Shadow of the Erdtree.
I don't know where the divine tower is for Melania's great rune though. I gotta figure that out still.
It's the one you got to teleport to, I think.
You have to teleport to,
Yeah,
bro.
if you look on the map, there's the one that's like in the middle of nowhere. There's like a teleporter somewhere in like the interstice between Altus and the capital and the snow area. I can't remember specifically. I'd have to double check. But yeah, there's like you
To
walk into a place
teleport
and
over
you
there
go
on the
whoosh,
big bridge.
maybe no, maybe yeah. One of those things. Yeah, you walk up and it's like the circle with the whooshy whoosh in the middle.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, that's annoying that I'm not gonna find it without looking it up.
Yeah, it
Um,
gives you the rally mechanic from Bloodborne.
I already kind of have that though, because I have those great stars or whatever, morning
Oh,
stars.
yeah, but this does the like the rally mechanic. You know, you know what I mean.
I don't
You
look.
play Bloodborne.
I don't use the
That was the
great
last
runes like
episode.
at all. So who cares?
Oh yeah, I basically forget they exist until I'm like I have to fight a hard boss, and then I have the Radon one, and I just use the rune arc and get my extra stats.
Yeah, I never use them. But I found Alexander the Jar Warrior. I never found him before either, so that's cool. Like the
Wait,
fight where you fight him.
wait. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you meant at all. I was gonna be like, oh
No.
my god.
No, I never found the fight on Farum Azula, so that was
Ah,
cool. I found
okay.
that.
Yeah, well, you gotta find him in all the other places for him to actually make it there. So
Right.
if you miss even one of
No, I
them, I
just never
think.
made it to that part of Farum Azula before
Oh yeah, because
because you got to like go
there's a
up a
Dragon
weird.
over there too, I think.
There's like a million. Now we're just talking about Elden Ring.
Yeah. Well, what else is new? Mr. Man he's played it as much as I have at this point. I haven't played Elden Ring in like straight up more than a year at this point. Like not in any meaningful way. Like I booted it up a couple times to run around or whatever. But like and you've done like 2 playthroughs in the meantime. So like you're fresher on all the Elden Ring stuff than I am by like a lot.
It's been like a year. Like it was
Yeah.
around this time last year that I decided to boot it up on a whim. Or maybe it was around this time year I did Shadow of the Erd Tree, and then it was like the summer that I was playing it on Steam Deck. And so I guess I just never really stopped.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You haven't stopped playing Elden Ring because I ruined your life.
I'm just too good at it. That's the problem. I just go through and I just kill. Dude,
Here,
everything melts
I'm
in
gonna
like three
here.
hits right now.
You want to talk about how to get the internet angry at Andy? He uses the mimic tier. Oh no. He used the tools in the game. Oh my god. Ah.
Wow, you
He does
just became Reddit in real life.
he does here's the yeah, but I use the mimic tier too. Just not I don't run into every fight with it. Like if it's a really hard fight and I'm like, I just want some help with this, I'll do it. It's not really an honor thing. I mostly am just like I want to see what the boss pattern is when they don't have another thing to focus their aggro on. Like how would they actually fight me in the way it was intended, you know? Because
Yeah,
that's
well,
how it always sort of was.
that's like, look, I mean, I'll maybe be the guy that agrees with everyone on the internet where like the mimic tier makes the fights doable, but it doesn't make them fun. The fun part is when like they're gonna swing down their big hammer and you roll at the right time. That's
Yeah.
where the endorphin comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
Promise
like,
Consort
it
Radon's
is.
got a lot of health. I want somebody to bonk him on the butt at the same time as me. That's it. You know?
Yeah, like it doesn't. It'd be more fun to master Promised Consort Radon, but he's so hard that like I'm not gonna learn. It's too much. I'm not gonna roll 17 times and then hit him once, and then roll 25 times and then hit him a second. Like it's just too much. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this
Anyway,
has been the horrors of the internet. Our first ever segment.
I mean, it's not our first. It's the first segment you named.
Yeah, well, it's the first time we did this segment.
Oh,
Would you
so
stop?
so
Every time we agree, you have to argue with me.
well. Oh, I have an actual question though. So
Okay.
is this segment specifically the horrors of the internet every time, or is it? And he's gonna make a PowerPoint on something.
It's gonna be
And
It's
is it
gonna
going
be
to
a
evolve?
PowerPoint. No, no, it's always horrors of the internet, but, like, the specific segment is Pokemon.
Okay.
So, the horrors of the internet for, like, your angle that you would do is you would try and convince me that everything's on fire and we're all gonna die. But my horrors of the
No,
internet
that is going
segment.
to happen, but not for the reasons that you think I'd say it for.
Shut up. My my portion of the segment is I'm gonna make a PowerPoint on something I find interesting and try and convince you and the viewers that it's interesting and that we're not all gonna die.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think you one, I know we're on a podcast right now, but I don't I don't actually think that Reddit comments are like the reason we're gonna die. They are a symptom of a greater set of things that I hate that really deeply upset me. And you think it's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Well, I love that it's funny that you're like, "Look, I
I
don't
get
think we're
okay,
all
here
gonna
here, let
die."
me let
But
me
I
let
think
me
it's but I think but
let
I
me
think
reframe it
wait,
to you.
wait,
Let me
no.
reframe it to you
No, no,
about
no,
why it
wait.
seems weird to me. This
Wait,
is the
listen.
equivalent of a person. No, 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 no. This is the equivalent. A person. We're like in a park, right? And some dude just walks up in the area and he just starts screaming nonsense about Pokemon like at nobody.
I would love that.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd be like, is
That
he
would be
okay? I would
amazing.
be like, is he okay? And you would think it's hilarious. Right? That's
I
what I'm
would
saying. That's all. It's the same
because
thing. It's the same thing.
like, look, but here's the thing is, like, I love that you were like, "Look, it's not that we're all gonna die because of Reddit comments. They're just symptomatic of the fact that we're all gonna die."
Yeah, exactly. The people are
Like,
saying the
so
crazy thing because everyone's depressed and we're all gonna die.
but
So
but here's the thing, even if we weren't all depressed and we weren't gonna die, there were still gonna be some people doing weird stuff that you weren't gonna do.
oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. I guess
Like,
this is kind of like I think fundamentally, right? What and I've said this before, but I'm gonna harp on it again. And this segment in particular, I think is gonna be like where we really dive into it. So I'll try and not dive into it in other game specific episodes. But like the internet has fundamentally changed what the concept of communication is because this is a context collapse that was previously not possible. Like nothing has any meaning anymore, right? Like we talked about like the a meme kind of, losing connection with what it originally was, and now we just kind of say the thing and whatever. But like that happens. Did we already talk about how quickly that happened with 6-7 on the last episode? Did we do that? Like the six
no, but
seven
I
meme?
don't wanna talk about 6, 7,
Yeah,
just
but
move
but
right past it.
yeah, no, hold on, but this is my point, right? Like you're already tired of it. It just happened because somehow the entire cycle of thing happening, people starting to make jokes, jokes catching on, blah blah blah. That all happened in like one day, you
Sure.
know, and that used to take time. So it used to have
Yeah.
to like sink in and better like because of that mentality and like how we treat everything, nothing has any connection to any other thing and everybody just looks at things in a vacuum and doesn't understand jack or anything about anything because everything is just a thing that the little rectangle in their hand shows them sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's annoying, but I'm interested in, like, reality enough to be like, "That's weird."
Well, right, but I guess my point is we could just like what if we just didn't do that, you know?
Well, look, I'm not God, I can't control what people do or don't do, I'm just
Yeah.
interested in it.
Yeah, well, you can advocate for the correct things because that's the only way anything gets better, Andy.
Well, yeah, but, like, if a guy like, let's go back to the Pokemon example. If we were at a park and a guy walked up and started yelling about Pokemon, it's like, it's just weird that that happened to me. Like, just in a pure just, like, this is a weird experience, and I'd probably talk to the guy too. I'd probably be like, "Tell me more." Like, I wanna, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right,
I
but
don't
that
have to.
whole experience is colored differently no matter what, right? Like say, that guy went and he did that and say you're interacting with him, right? Everyone around in the area is not looking at that guy the same way they would scroll past the Reddit comments. That's my point. You know what I mean? We don't talk about things as though they're real because we don't talk about them with other people in person. We just shout into voids and go, yeah, this is the thing. And the void shouts back and we just go, I guess that's how it works. Like, nah, dude.
Speak
Like,
for yourself, bro. I
we,
talk to people about things.
well, yeah, you and I do, but again, ball and gun guy doesn't,
I think
you know,
I
does
disagree.
not.
I think ball and gun guy. I think a lot of those people. I think there's a lot of people who still like aren't even aware of what Reddit is, and those people are like talking to real people. You know?
There's that, but I just think you have a much more optimistic view of the average person's willingness to engage with anything than I do. Like
Yeah.
anything at all, any topic.
I think it's not even necessarily optimism. It's just like if something weird or odd happens and I observe it, I'm like a little bit more inherently like I lean to like being fascinated by it instead of like scared by it or something. Like I want to like observe it and maybe understand it, and you look at it and you go, "Well, this is a clear indicator of all of these other bad things." But it doesn't have to be.
No, no. Well, I I think you need to realize that you just kind of said the same thing twice. You're like, yeah, I sit around and I observe the things. Like, yeah, what do you think I'm doing? Why do you think I'm coming to the conclusions that I am?
Well, but like you, it's not that I'm more optimistic about it. It's just that I think I'm just more fascinated to observe it in general. But like when you see it, you like want to connect it to like larger trends and say like, well, this happened because, and I'm like, nah, bro, I'm on a rock floating through space and I just saw some weird stuff happen. That could have happened to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just a perspective. A lot of this comes from my nanny who like my nanny famously like has all sorts of weird things happen to her and like weird people come up to her. I mean, not as much anymore because she doesn't get out as much, but like just all kinds of weird people come up to my nanny and just tell her like their life story and all the weird stuff that happened to them and like horrible things. And she's always just like, cool, tell me more. Like she just she just wants to know. She's like, I want to know what's going on with this guy. And I think I finally come around to being that type of person a little bit.
Well, see, okay. I still think the only difference with me there is at the ends, like if somebody told me like some really crazy sad story, like they'd walk away and I'd be like, damn, I hope he's okay. You know, like that would be the thing that I would come away with.
Oh yeah,
Not
totally.
it would be, and like don't get me wrong, like it would still be, wow, that was a crazy story and I would definitely retell it, but like the emotion that primarily is going to hit my heart about that in the end of it is still going to be like the empathy for that dude's experience rather
Oh, totally.
than the encounter that I had, I guess, you know.
Well, that's why well, yeah, but that's why I wanna, like, learn about it. I feel like seeing the people on Pokemon or on Reddit that are like, "I hate Pokemon." I feel like there's a nugget there to, like, learn about and empathize with that person of, like, why is it? Why you know, why is it that this
Because his friends
person
don't
they're
talk to him enough.
yeah, like that or,
Like, I guess
like
I guess that, but to me, like that is like that's kind of the end of it. Of like, I don't know. I already am assuming about this person, right? I can't even make like that's already too much of an assumption. I'm going to throw out there. If I,
yeah.
you know, so I'm not going to put more thought beyond that into what I think is wrong with that person's head, I guess, because it's just like, yeah, you know, they should probably just start by like talking to somebody because like that would solve like 90% of people's issues if they just like talked about things with people, you know?
Yeah, I more think like I mean, I think there's a whole myriad of possibilities. Like for me, I think it's more likely that it's just like for whatever reason, the one of the few things this person can control in their life is like an internet comment about a thing they really love. Or maybe it's even like not that they're so unhinged, but they're like, I don't know, I grew up like me and my brother used to play Pokemon and that's like a core memory for me and like my brother moved to Florida and like I don't see him as much anymore and like so Pokemon was like the one thing to me. Like I you know, I think there are more interesting like deep angles about like why people are so passionate and feel the need to like comment on stuff in the way they do. But you know, potentially.
Well, you're probably right about like kind of all of those things, right? It's just I think there's also the part of me that is like the era of internet that like we grew up in and everything, and like dude, the aughts were they were a weird edgy time, and they were an especially weird edgy time on the internet, you know. So I think
Yeah.
there's also part of me that is like I have some piece of internet culture kind of colored in my head a certain way that like I'm always going to err more on the side of that person's unwell and saying nonsense on the internet, because that, at least for a time, was probably true, right? But now, because the internet is so much more accessible, it's maybe less that those people are unwell and less that they're just not like socialized. You know what I mean?
Maybe, maybe,
Um,
but again, I don't generally go towards those types of like, it's really easy to find, like, some unhinged, crazy stuff. That tends not to be what I gravitate towards. I tend to gravitate towards stuff that, like, is a little bit more reasonable, like a real person that's healthy might have written it.
yeah, I guess it's the internet being this dark mirror of us, right? Like all of us collectively, right? I guess that's sort of where I'm stuck on, of like, we've had this thing, we've never really reckoned with the idea of what it is. We've just accepted that it's here and that it's changing everything, you know? I
Yeah.
still don't think people conceptualize that, like, you said it to me before, we were meant to know, like we probably would have known like 50 people in our entire lives, in like very
Oh, yeah.
traditional, like the idea that millions of voices are screaming their stupid, completely like meaningless opinion about a topic they don't actually know anything about is always happening every second of every day, and it can always be beamed at me from some source in my home.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. Like that's hell. That's what that
Yeah.
is.
I
So
think
like I
yeah,
don't we made this though, right? And we could change it, but like we just we just need to, like, I guess it's weird because my skepticism or cynicism or whatever it is, I think I've moved a little bit away from the cynicism. I'm still definitely highly skeptical. Um I think it's mostly that I agree with you very much. Like, I just wish people would talk to people in real life more. Cause like I know, and I've been on the internet, and it's like way cooler for you and I to talk to each other, whether it's on Discord or we hang out, even though that's harder now that we don't live near each other. Right. Like, that's just a better part of my day 100% of the time. Always. Every
yeah, yeah.
single instance that happens is the better part of my day, right? So if that's true for me, maybe it's not true for everybody, but you know what? That's probably true for most people. We're social creatures, right? It's good
But
for us to
I
interact with people in that way. Like, we are tactile, sensual type creatures. Like, you touch things, we feel things, we think of smells, right? None of that happens when you do it through a screen at all.
but it's weird because, again, like, our view of what people are doing is very different because I mean, and the world I live in and work in is very different than yours. But like, in my experience, that is what people are doing. And in fact, most people are so busy that I know with kids in real life and whatever that like going on the internet and commenting is like the last thing they're actually doing. So I think our perception of the numbers of people are pretty different too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I also don't even think Ball and Gun Guy goes on the internet and makes the comments. But that's again why, again, I'm thinking about it as, we have a huge amount of people that use a thing, and then you see these kind of crazy things and you realize that, okay, there's like 10 million people that use this website, and like I found like 10 like really crazy people. It's like, yeah, but if there was only a million users on the site, then there'd probably only be literally one of those guys. And when they were smaller
Well, yeah,
community, you know what I mean? Like, this is, we
I do.
we
Sure.
reinforce what this is by also giving people the opportunity to do it at scale the way that we do. Like
Yes. Sure.
all of these things feed into each other. You can't remove one piece and not have like the Jenga tower falls apart, right? The whole thing is propped up by all of these different things, and you remove any one piece, and the entire thing works differently now. So
Yeah.
that's the part that I find fascinating. But again, fundamentally, I'm like, you could just take power away from these structures by simply not engaging with them in this way, and just
Yeah.
talking to people, you know.
Well, I hope this has been interesting and or depressing
We
for
talked about this
people.
for a lot longer than I thought we were going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. I didn't know, again, I had no idea if this was gonna be long or short because I didn't bring that much to the table, but I knew it would, I
Oh, we
knew it
talk
would
about
definitely
everything all
lead
the
you
time.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank if you've watched the stream or this YouTube video for God knows what reason, Stay tuned. Maybe
This
next
feels like
time
a good
Tommy
one.
will make something. Yeah, maybe next time. Maybe we'll never do this thing again. But I thought it was like a fun
What
little
okay,
experiment. And I
okay,
could,
here's the thing. What if we lean into the bit a little bit and you're like, "I'm gonna do this," and then I do the opposite, or I bring to you something that I know in your heart you agree is atrocious, but we'll present it in such a way that would be very Reddit internet commenty, and I have to get Andy riled up and be like, "Yeah, you know what? And another thing about
well,
whatever it is."
yeah, that's exactly the idea, right? Like I'm bringing the optimistic, like you should be interested in this piece, and you're bringing the like the whole world is on fire piece.
Well, it's less the whole
That's like
world
our
is on
two
fire.
angles.
It's like which emotion are we going to cave into more? You know, like because I
Yeah.
we both can we can contain multitudes. You know, we could both feel both of those things. Like I can be upset about Metroid Prime 4 and not go on the internet and talk about it. You know, but it also wasn't my white
No.
whale. You know what I mean? Like
No, this is the internet. We don't have multitudes. We have outrage or no.
no, that's my whole point, Andy. That's the whole. That's what the puzzle is. It's the name of the podcast or something. Hey, don't cough
All
at
right.
me.
I'm tired. It's past my bedtime.
It's always past your
Thank
bedtime.
Shut up.
He's actually
It's act
I hold on. I need everyone to realize Andy is
I'm gonna
not
kill you.
even a little bit kidding right now. He is going to go to sleep after this.
I'm gonna be like in like 20 minutes. I'm gonna be completely
Yeah, he's
unconscious.
going to be unconscious for sure.
I have to. There's a buttload of dishes that I have to load first, but that should only take me like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So
and then you also your head hits the pillow and you also instantaneously fall asleep because I hate you. I'm very jealous
yeah,
of
I'm
how good a
awesome.
sleeper you are.
I'm amazing. Thank you for noticing.
This
All right.
this was this an unhinged episode or not an unhinged episode? I can't tell.
It was definitely unhinged. It was crazy.
That's an
I
unhinged
can't.
puzzle. That's what we call it. That's changing the name.
Okay, log off so I can go to bed now. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye everybody.